From political shifts and economic updates to viral social moments and trending pop culture, we've got you covered with all the information you need to stay ahead. Whether it's breaking news, the latest from social media, or a deep dive into what's really happening on the global stage, you'll find it right here, delivered fast, clear, and to the point.
Seven fronts. Enemies of civilization. I mean, these aren't just words, are they?
No, not at all.
Prime Minister Netanyahu really threw down the gauntlet with that speech, didn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, it sent shockwaves across the globe.
Absolutely.
So today we're going deep on those seven fronts.
Okay.
Really unpacking who he's talking about and the message, I think, he's sending to the world.
Yeah, what's so fascinating about this speech is how Netanyahu is crafting this narrative, this really stark narrative of this existential struggle, almost a biblical clash between Israel and the forces of barbarism. But to truly grasp its potential impact, I think we need to unpack these.
Yeah.
We need to dissect each front.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
So Netanyahu starts with front number one, Gaza and Hamas. And he does not hold back, calling them savages, bringing up the horrors of October 7th, the murders, the kidnappings, just the sheer brutality.
Yeah, October 7th is really, the linchpin of this whole speech. It's this horrifying turning point, even in, the long and troubled history of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
Right.
And Hamas's actions that day, they fuel this narrative of survival that Netanyahu is trying to kind of, project onto the world stage.
Absolutely. So that brings us to front number two, Lebanon and Hezbollah.
Right.
Netanyahu claims they were plotting something even more devastating than October 7th.
Yeah.
And this comes after months of them lobbing rockets into Israel.
Exactly. And I think it's important to note, we're not talking about some, loosely organized group here.
Right.
Hezbollah is a formidable force, arguably the most heavily armed terror organization out there.
Wow.
They've got sophisticated weaponry like the Iranian-supplied Fate 110 missiles.
Okay.
These things can reach deep into Israel, and their connection to Iran.
Right.
Well, I think that's where we start to see Netanyahu's narrative widening.
Yeah. And that net stretches even further. Fronts 3 and 4, Yemen's Houthis and Shia militias in Iraq and Syria.
Yeah.
Now we're talking drone and missile attacks from multiple countries.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels almost like a siege.
Exactly. It's like this sense of being encircled under constant threat. And the thread that Netanyahu keeps tugging on here is Iran, right? He's linking all of these groups. The Houthis, these Shia militias, through their shared ideology, their desire to see Israel wiped off the map, and crucially, their reliance on Iranian support.
Then we make a shift, kind of a shift in focus with Front 5, Judea and Samaria, also known as the West Bank.
Right.
And it's interesting because now the threat is inside Israel's borders.
Yeah. And there's definitely, a layer of complexity here because it's not as clear-cut who Netanyahu is referring to. Could be individuals, could be small cells, maybe even factions within existing Palestinian groups.
Wow.
But I think the point is that this enemy that he's talking about isn't just at the gates, right? It could be lurking anywhere, creating this constant undercurrent of vulnerability.
And of course, we can't forget the elephant in the room, front number 6.
Yeah.
Iran itself.
Right.
No intermediaries here. This is head-to-head, with Netanyahu alleging over 200 ballistic missiles fired at Israel just last week.
Yeah, this is really, the crux of it all, the decades of animosity between Israel and Iran, the fear of Iran's nuclear ambitions. It all kind of coalesces in this front. Netanyahu's drawing a line in the sand here.
Okay.
This isn't about border skirmishes anymore. It's about the very real possibility of a full-blown regional war.
Okay, well, strap in, because front number 7 is where I think things get really interesting, even chilling.
Okay.
Netanyahu sets his sights on the West, slamming arms embargoes against Israel.
Yeah.
And saying those who support them are siding with barbarism.
It's a high-stakes gamble. He's publicly calling out potential allies, painting them as complicit in the face of evil. Think back to the Cold War, how Reagan labeled the Soviet Union an evil empire.
Wow.
This is that type of rhetoric. This is designed to isolate opponents, force the hand of neutral parties.
So where does this leave us? I mean, we've got this incredibly stark narrative, this image of Israel waging a solitary war against the, enemies of civilization on 7 fronts. I mean, it's powerful stuff.
And that's precisely the point. It's a narrative designed to evoke visceral reactions.
Right.
Fear, anger, a sense of righteous indignation. But the question you have to ask yourself is, how effective will it be on the global stage? Will it rally the support Netanyahu desires? Or will it backfire?
Right.
Will it escalate tensions even further?
Uh-huh.
There's no easy answer. And I think that's what makes this whole situation so fascinating and honestly so worrying.
Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button. It helps the channel. And if you're new here or just haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our future content. Oh, and don't forget to ring the bell icon so you'll be the first to know when we drop something new. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming up.